Ash is dead, and we have killed him. Friedrich Nietzsche, 1882. Ash's journey has quickly come to an end, but before we can even see it in English, the episode of the new anime just dropped last Friday and was quickly fan-translated the following night. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this a weekly thing or not, but for now, I want to discuss the first episode of Pokemon Horizons. The premiere for the anime started us off with an extra-long 2-episode special, The Pendant of Beginnings Part 1 and 2. We start off with following one of our two new protagonists, named Liko. We're quickly shown her awkward nature as she interacts with two girls at a bus stop, and also her love for a YouTuber in this world, Gurumin. In the background of the Gurumin video is a Quaxly, which I point out now because it will be important later, so take notes for the test. She's currently going to school in the Kanto region. We follow her first day as she meets up with her roommate, Anne, goes to class, and gets her first Pokemon, Sprigatito. Sprigatito is really fickle and reckless at first, running away when she first gets it. But over the course of the episode, she starts to grow closer with it and sneaks outside at night to try and train it using leafage. But after coming back from training one night, she looks at a strange pendant, thinking Anne isn't there. When Anne does show up and asks about it, she explains that it's a good luck charm from her grandmother. It's a blue hexagon-shaped pendant, clearly reminiscent of Terrapagos from the Hidden Treasure DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Throughout the episode, we've also been seeing people who are looking for a girl. Soon though, it's been an entire semester, and Liko is heading back to her hometown in Paldea, when a strange man arrives claiming her grandmother is requesting that pendant back. Liko runs back to her room, immediately suspicious of the man. She puts on the pendant and runs away, but he and two other people chase her. One of them throws out a Rhydon, and she manages to win her first battle, even though Sprigatito's leafage is not quite yet mastered. But they continue giving chase until they corner her on the roof. Just as she's about to be done in, a man riding on the back of a Charizard swoops in and battles in her stead. This is Fiede, and he battles the leader of these suspicious characters, Amethio, and his Ceruledge. Liko runs away again, but as she's getting away, a stray attack is about to hit her. Her amulet glows and creates a shield around her, and at the center of it... Yeah, you've already seen this one on Twitter. It's Mini Pagos. And if we can look at it for a second, while it's clearly related to Terrapagos, it also has a lot of notable differences. First, it has one tail and lacks the fur of Terrapagos, has longer limbs, crystals that extend off its head rather than that are a part of it, and most notably, instead of a multifaceted back, it's just one hexagon. I've seen people speculating that this is a pre-evolution or alternate form, but I wonder if it might also be a Zygarde situation, and there are multiple of these that make up the bigger Terrapagos. But for now, we're left on this question as the first episode ends there. We pick up in the second part immediately where we left off though. Liko falls from the roof after her shield activates, but Fiede swoops in to save her and the two fly off. He takes her to his airship, which Anne actually pointed out in the last episode. There we meet some of the people who were looking for a girl earlier, clearly her. We meet Molly, Murdoch, and his Rockruff. The ship also has a lot of other Pokemon on board that makes it feel really lived in and puts Liko at ease. All isn't well though, as the three enemies, now told to us to be the group known as the Explorers, give chase. Everyone steers the ship toward a storm to shake them off, and I love the way they have the engine set up. There's a Slugma keeping the fire going, and there's a Carkol that, instead of heating the fire, they have running on a wheel generator. It's really fun and cute. We also finally meet Captain Pikachu, and once Liko is captured by the Explorers, it's Captain Pikachu Fiede fights with. But as the battle rages, the ship starts to get damaged, and Liko stops the fighting. She's been apprehensive and confused the whole episode, and seems to just want to take the easy way out of going with them, but Sprigatito knocks her to her senses, and she realizes that she needs to fight to protect herself. She tells Sprigatito to use Leafage, and it finally unleashes a powerful attack, sending the Explorers away. Unfortunately, the stormy winds knock Sprigatito off the airship, where it gets picked up by Amethio, and we end off there with both groups separating from each other. To be continued. A great start to the series. And I'm a little biased there because I've been rewatching Hoenn recently. The episode felt a little slow-paced at times, but I think it did a great job setting up the world and the characters for the show, and it really has me hooked by the end of part 2. I assume the next episode they're going to try and get Sprigatito back, and the full title right now is Liko and Roy Set Off, so I assume the next few episodes will actually be a prologue of sorts, and we may not actually see much more about Mini Pagos for a while. The animation is also incredible, and the battles are great to watch. I really like seeing how the art style has been developing since Sun and Moon, and it's really reaching a peak here. All the characters are likable, and the Pokemon have so much personality. Sprigatito especially is just so adorable. I'm looking forward to the next episode, which seems to be coming out weekly on Fridays, though fan subs may end up being up each Saturday. Now, the end of part 2 also had the opening, which I'd like to delve into a bit. We start off with Liko, probably cementing her as the central protagonist of the series. Then we see each of the members of the ship and some of the various Pokemon aboard before cutting to Roy and Fuecoco walking through a forest. Throughout the first 2 parts, Liko makes mention of people being energetic types of people when she first meets them, and I feel like that's a setup for Roy, who seems very energetic in the opening. We then see Guramine again and his Quaxly, and I said to remember that detail. I'm getting there. Because earlier in part 2, we saw Quaxly on the ship, so we know Guramine's on the ship. After some more shots of Roy and Liko, though, we get a panning shot of the crew watching over them, and we see Quaxly again, but no Guramine. Sus. We then cut to Roy as a younger child, looking up at the sky and holding a golden sphere. I'm assuming this will be related to his motivation to go on the journey. Maybe he received that from some ancient Pokemon from the sky? Arceus, maybe? It could tie into that game. We get a quick battle shot between Amethio and Fiade, driving home that these are 2 opposing teams. Fiade's crew calling themselves the Rising Volttekers, by the way. We get a shot of the entire crew, including Roy, coming together for a meal, and Quaxly's with... We end on one last shot of Liko looking forward before hesitating as the rest of the crew moves forward. Roy looks back at her, giving her the courage to continue, and we finish on the crowd shot. And who else is Quaxly standing beside then? I think the Drampa-looking geezer is going to be Guramine. So there it is. Ash's journey has finally come to an end, and we get to live to see someone else take his mantle. Overall, I thought it was a great first episode. I might review more in the future, but if not, I'll definitely be making a review of the overall series once it's done. But while you wait, I also do longer form video essay content on other toy-based anime, and I've got one on Pokemon coming up actually, so feel free to check those out. I've also got a Digimon one coming out at the end of this month, and I plan to cover the new Beyblade and Bakugan generations when they come out later this year as well. Don't forget to star, reply, and synonym for subscribe, and I'll hope to see you next time.